Welcome to my master research lessons. My lessons will be based on a book entitled Social Research Methods, Proposal Writing Guide. In the book you find part which is 1.9, referred to as Conceptual Framework. Conceptual Framework. What is Conceptual Framework? Conceptual Framework is a structure of concepts which are put together to map a study. And it is key diagrammatic or illustrated framework of concepts. If you remember, we looked at key concepts in this study, and we're looking at concepts such as management. We looked at a concept such as school resources. We looked at concepts also including teacher and student characteristics. These are concepts that we looked at, and these concepts are the ones that form key component of the parameters that form the conceptual framework. Now, conceptual framework is a little bit tricky for some students of research when they start conceptualizing the study. You need to be led by the key parameters, and these concepts, we talk of them as independent variables versus dependent variable. For the purpose of this presentation, we look at independent variables that we have highlighted as key concepts, and then dependent variable. On the topic or title, factors affecting students' academic performance, we look at academic performance as the dependent variable. And these are the concepts, namely school management, school facilities, teacher characteristics, and students' characteristics. We look at these as independent variables. And these are the ones that in conceptual framework, when you present conceptual framework as an illustration, you see one side, you have independent variables that are interrelating with dependent variable. And then we may have intervening variables that play between dependent variable and independent variables. So you need to be very clear on the kind of concepts that are guiding your study, because conceptual framework is able to help a student of research to be able to determine and see vividly the key concepts that emanate from the guiding principles of research objectives or research questions or the hypothetical statements. And therefore, you need to be well guided by your conceptual framework so that it takes you all the way to the end, including the deductions or the conclusions that you drew from your study is based on how you conceptualize or how you see or how you package your study. And therefore it is very important that for the purpose of this, that we illustrate to gain a better understanding. Let's use our parameters, or let's use our concepts. One, we had concepts known as management. These are factors that influence theorized factors that influence students' academic performance in the example that we have used in subsequent sessions in this presentation. 2, we look at the other concept and the school facilities. And the other one is teacher characteristics. And the other is student characteristics. This is the conceptual framework. Once you have this, then you can fix that. And then you have here, and note the direction of the arrow. It leads and it points to dependent variable. Dependent variable is academic performance. Academic performance. So this is dependent variable, and these are independent variables. These are independent variables. So this is a simple illustration of conceptual framework. But note that we need to indicate or to operationalize our conceptual framework. If you look at management factor as a factor that is influencing academic performance among students in public secondary schools, you need to indicate what we call indicators. What are indicators of school management? You operationalize indicator of school management. What will you be measuring in school management? You may look at maybe the training maybe of school manager. For that school manager as a parameter, or including leadership skills of this. Leadership skills is an indicator of management. Leadership skill is an indicator of management. You may look at maybe teamwork, or team aspect, or collaboration. Is he able to pull a team together to work towards common goal? These are indicators. You are trying to operationalize the parameter or the concept of school management. And therefore, when you look at school facilities, how is in terms of school facilities, teaching and learning resources, like classroom, maybe. You're looking at adequacy of classroom. You're looking at playground, play. You're looking at library. These are facilities that enhance academic performance among students. You are operationalizing what you're doing. We are operationalizing the conceptual framework. When you look at teacher characteristics, we may measure teacher characteristics in terms of teacher factors. We may measure teacher factors in terms of what? 1, training. We may look at teacher characteristics in terms of experience. We may look at teacher characteristics also in terms of other characteristics that include attitude of a teacher may influence the performance as well. Then we go to students' factors. We may have students' factors that may include also the student attitude is an important factor in performance because, for instance, a student with the wrong attitude in a subject like mathematics may fail such a subject because of negative attitude and therefore may influence academic performance. Students have, for instance, background. In terms of background, parental background, education level maybe of parents or certain other parameters that are likely to influence students' characteristics may as well affect, or socioeconomic background may influence, therefore, attitude. Maybe parental upbringing, presence or absence of a father, or father figure, or parental figure, or guide may as well affect academic performance. And therefore, this is operationalizing, we are operationalizing the conceptual framework, and especially the key parameters, independent variables, we have to indicate the indicators. These are indicators. And then, academic performance. How will you measure academic performance? Through the scores, maybe. Final scores, national exam, final scores of national level, or that end of the year, or that standardized examination. Therefore, in terms of their scores, this generally conceptual framework of independent variables and dependent variable, but you may have other variables, intervening variables, that may influence students' academic performance. And such variables, intervening variables, may be listed here. Intervening variables may be listed there. Those are intervening variables. Intervening variables. So such is the conceptual framework, which is very important in teaching and learning process of research methods. And for students who do not get these concepts rightly, they are likely to face a lot of issues with reference to conceptualizing their study. And therefore, reading more in my book, Social Research Methods, Proposal Writing Guide, will be able to further guide you in terms of how to draw conceptual framework. Brilliant. If you like this presentation, click the button and subscribe and like as well.